game, so give me the 10 points.
Okay. Seth, to round it out.
Yeah.
We didn't leave him anything good.
All by himself.
I think that White County Wesleyan game can be closer than it's set. So, give me White County to close that gap at 10.
Wait, White County.
White County's the
favorite.
They're the favorite.
Yes.
White
So you're
County's
gonna
a
take
10-point
Wesleyan?
favorite.
Yeah, I want to take Wesleyan plus 10.
Okay.
Who's writing these things? They're not writing them this. Yep,
No,
that tracks.
I'm writing them perfectly. Yes, everybody knew exactly what the thing was except for you. So it's a you thing.
It's Jeff's format. It's not the traditional format that we have been using, but
Thank you.
if it says plus 10.
Hey, Jeff, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What color would you like
Underdog.
to be in the show today? What color?
Do I get to pick the color?
Yeah, I'll
this
let
time?
you pick this time.
He's an Alabama fan. Make him crimson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
give me
Crimson.
crimson. Yeah.
And we're back in the chair again this week. The Friday Game Night Pick'em Show is on the air. Welcome to the show. Bo Wilson alongside Jeff's back in the building this week. He is no longer sickly. Caleb over here as well. Seth over behind the table. Of course, he's trying to move out of the room because he doesn't want to be on the camera. And then, of course, Walker Ticker McCrary is somewhere in the United States.
For now.
Welcome to the show,
now.
guys. What's up?
What's up? You know,
What
I
a
could
great week of high
have
school
come in
football.
last week.
Yeah, nobody cares, Jeff.
I know, but I could have. But I care about you guys, so I didn't want you to catch
You could have
anything.
been in the chair, and we could have all been out of the chair
Yeah,
this
that's
week.
right. We could actually next week we're gonna let you do the show by yourself.
Oh man, I got ideas, Seth. I have
I
ideas.
said by yourself.
Yeah,
Quit.
By yourself means by yourself.
You've got to produce.
Caleb,
it.
you
You've
wanna
gotta
produce the
talk.
show again?
You've gotta do. No,
Listen, I
no.
thought-
Jeff's doing it by himself.
Oh, we're gonna let Jeff one-man band it?
yeah,
Oh yeah, I could do it.
Yes.
I can handle it.
Listen, I thought my producing went pretty well, all things
I
considered.
thought it was great.
All things considered.
I
It was-
can,
it was-
Seth, I
it
can
was
do
awesome.
this. I can go. That's it. I can do that.
Oh
There you
yeah,
go. That's it.
Well, why don't
Just
we let
line
him
the
back there? See what
Just
happens.
line the cameras up.
I'm not letting him touch any of my stuff back
Please
here.
don't. Please don't.
I don't want that to happen.
Okay, guys.
I get no respect. I feel like Rodney Dangerfield. I get
We
no
respect the fact
Yeah.
that we don't want you doing this.
See, my plan's working then. That means I have to do less, and that's my whole goal, to do less and get paid the same.
So
Nice.
we take away a stat
Do
of the
we
show.
have?
That's what I'm
Where's
hearing,
the
right?
censor mark?
We take away a stat of the show segment, right?
Yeah.
He wants to do less. We could just take away. I'll take a stat of the show.
I think,
Hey,
There you go.
have I been have
Just clarification, he did not say anything. That last one, that could look bad, but he didn't say anything.
I think taking away his stat of the show should be punishment for when he makes like a joke that stops the show and falls flat. I think that
Yeah.
could be a punishment.
Then we'd have to come up with a punishment for the majority of us.
That's true. That's a good
Because
point.
it's not that's not an only Jeff thing.
That's a good point.
that's correct.
But he said he wanted to do less work. So
Well, I've already-
I have his stat of the show. I can read it.
I
Stat of the show this week.
I should have never reminded Seth that he had that button.
This will be fun. My new favorite button. Except it really sounds like I'm bleeping out something worse than it is. I'm just doing it over Jeff talk.
well, what?
I'll stop.
It's too fun.
It is way too fun. We need to take this away from me.
Hey, since you guys.
My wife is calling and she wants that button.
Did you just show us the document for the show?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. And since we're talking about Jeff Hart's stat of the show, roll the music, Seth.
Wow, that's quick.
Here's some things you need to know.
It's Jeff Hart's interesting stat of the show.
Yeah, let's get it out of the way.
I wasn't sure what was about to happen here. So, well, the stat is 1 in 5. And that doesn't sound like a great stat, but, you know, Dawson County has pretty much become synonymous with winning over the last 7 or 8 years under Sid Maxwell. But that has, not really been the case this year. You know, the school opened in 1967. Okay, so for 19 years, Bo, your alma mater did not have a winning record for its first 19 years. But since 2000,
I didn't know that, Jeff.
Oh, well, in case you didn't,
Thank
now
you for
do.
letting me know
That's right.
that stat of the show.
That's right. But from that point forward, their first winning season was in 1986. They went 7-2-1, and since then they've had 9. They had 9
How many
winning
stats
seasons.
you got today?
A lot. 9 winning seasons, just 9 from essentially 1967 to 2014. That's when Sid Maxwell came in. Okay, Tigers right now are 1-5. He's in his 9th season, but they have posted no worse than a 500 season every year he's been there, with 7 winning seasons and no less than 7 wins. Okay, so I think, when we sit here and we do these picks and we talk about a lot of our teams, Dawson County is one of those teams we've kind of seen as a power team in the last half dozen years to almost 10 years. But one more loss for the Tigers, and they'll have their first losing season since 2014, which I think is kind of interesting because only Beaufort, Jefferson, Raven County, and Commerce. Now, those are some power teams that we're talking about. Those are the only other teams that have had a longer stretch of winning seasons in Dawson County. I think that's pretty impressive for your alma mater and with Sid Maxwell. But right now they're sitting at 1-5. So they have to win out to not have that first losing season under Sid Maxwell. Can they do that? They have an interesting game this week to try to keep that going.
They need to get off the struggle bus to do that.
But I just thought, I was just kind of looking at that and like 1-5 with Dawson County. We just haven't said that in a long time. But we knew this team might struggle a little bit this year. I just didn't see this. So there's the stat of the show.
Stats of the show.
Well, I try to be informative. Nobody else here does. I try to be informative for our audience.
What?
Yeah,
None of us
Hit the
informative?
censor
That's correct.
button again on him.
What?
Yeah, just beep.
I try to be. Hey, Seth. Did you?
What is this devolving into, man?
It's devolving. Like we should just post this tone over the entire show. Like if you don't hear anything, it's just this tone.
All right, guys, some explosive finishes, or at least one explosive finish last week. Flowery Branch, Clark Central, huge game and huge finish. Branch coming from behind to that game to win it with 1:20 to go in that one. Josh Oliver with a massive night. By the way, check the Gaining the Edge feature out on him on the website. But just a huge finish, Caleb, for the Falcons.
Potentially a season-saving performance by Flowery Branch in that one. And it wasn't just Josh Oliver. You have Malik Dryden, or not Malik Dryden, but Jeremiah Ware. Malik Dryden didn't play.
Larson.
Which is incredible, by the way. They scored 41 points without Malik Dryden, who is one of their best offensive players. Jeremiah Ware went off, as he's been doing for a couple of weeks. He went off in that come-from-behind performance against Eastside that they ultimately ended up losing in double overtime. So, that's a potentially season-saving performance for Flowery Branch because it really upends Region 8-5A because that now, outside of Jefferson at the top, Eastside probably looks like they're on their way to a region title matchup with Jefferson down the line if they can beat Clark Central. But everything else in the maybe they don't beat Clark Central.
Maybe not.
Maybe Clark Central beats Eastside and we just have total chaos in 8-5A. So
I'm predicting total chaos. In fact, Flowery Branch they control the whole thing almost. If they win out and Clark Central beats Eastside, they'll be the region champs. I mean, it's right there for the Falcons. That was a saving season, and not just saving the season, it now sets them up. I'm not sure that we've seen a turnaround for any team in 1 week like we saw last week with Flowery Branch. Walker?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you talk about going down to Clark Central, we saw Gainesville go down there earlier this year in a battle until late in the game where Gainesville pulled away, which we would expect the Red Elephants to do. Clark Central has kind of been the team that we've kind of been trying to base everybody in 8-5A off of just because of how they're able to perform, the athletes they have, and what they're doing down there in Athens. And for Flowery Branch to go down there and come back from behind and get the win in what was a crazy 5 minutes that Caleb and I were watching nonstop while we were on the scoreboard show, just the scores that went back and forth and back and forth. You said it best. It's probably a season-saving win for the Branch because now, Jeff, like you said, the entire way that 8-5A can play itself out kind of is in Flowery Branch's hands. They Still have to play Jefferson, which, we think Jefferson might be the region title. They've still got a couple of games that they have to win to be able to secure that. But 2, 3, and 4 all kind of runs through Flowery Branch in the Falcons locker room.
Well, speaking of Flowery Branch, I've got Winder Barrow this week as we'll roll into the conversation games here on the show. Winder Barrow at Flowery Branch is Flowery Branch a 24-point favorite in this game, which is an interesting line. We'll get to the locks later in the show, but I think Flowery Branch, guys, has enough to beat Winder Barrow. I don't know if it's going to be 24 points. They're going to beat it by 24, but Branch has that. I don't know what you would call it. I'm not going to call it the it factor because it's not that, but it's they can grind it out. I mean, they find a way, and they did, of course, against Clark Central. And I think Friday night it's going to be a huge game for them. It's homecoming, so the dark side will be rocking.
It will. Listen, 2 weeks ago we were almost ready to bury Flowery Branch. We were talking about, were we about to see the same kind of finish they had last year, where they, they all 7 straight. But it's amazing. They probably should have beaten Eastside. And then we see what happened last week. Winder Barrow, I think, was getting a lot of love around the area in the state early, but I don't think that team is quite as good as what a lot of people. I think Jefferson really exposed them and showed a lot of people, how you can beat them. And I think Flowery Branch, very balanced. They have more than enough to beat the Double G Bulldogs. And, this is the kind of game, we talk about season saving. They have to win this game, though. That game won't matter last year.
That's completely true. And when you look at it now for Flowery Branch, this really becomes the game of the season. They've allowed it to be that by beating Clark Central, but it really is, because when you look at the way the schedule shapes up, they played Eastside, Clark Central, Winder, Jefferson.
Right.
Then after that, they get probably the bottom 2 teams in the region in Loganville and Heritage Conyers at the end of the year. Loganville at home and then at Heritage. If they can beat Winder Barrow, whatever happens against Jefferson happens, and then you basically get 2 games at the end of the year against teams that will be the easiest competition. And I don't say that to down Loganville and Heritage, because they're not awful, but compared to what Flowery Branch has played all year, including what they're about to face in Winder Barrow and Jefferson, it'll be a break compared to what they've had. So if they can beat Winder Barrow, they are fully and they're really in control of their own destiny now. Absolutely. But especially if they win this game.
I think, Walker, you can put those 2 games at the end, games that you should win, that Flowery Branch should win. And, of course, Flowery Branch is going to see a heavy rushing attack from Winder Barrow this week.
Yeah, I think that this, just to kind of get back to the way the schedule lays out, though, I think what you have to be afraid of if you're a Flowery Branch fan is this a trap game? The emotional high of beating Clark Central. You've got Jefferson looming next week, which, if you're able to beat Winder Barrow, especially given the margin that they're favored to win by, you kind of set up a potential. If you pull off the upset against the Dragons, you are in line for the number 1 seed in the region. So I think that Flowery Branch is going to have to be ready to come out and play off the bat, because, like you said, Bo, Winder Barrow likes to run the football, and what can teams run the football do? They can shorten a game, and Flowery Branch does not need a shortened game. Otherwise, that offense isn't going to be able to get clicking and be able to use all their weapons to the extent that I know that the Falcons want to be able to get this win.
Well, that would be a concern to me, the whole trap game idea, were it not for Jason Tester. I don't feel that we talk about Jason Tester a lot, and I think the reason we don't is because he's a very even keel coach. Like, he's just a very level, and I don't know how he is when he's talking to his team, but when you talk to him, you get the sense of a guy that doesn't have a lot of emotional highs, that doesn't have a very wide bandwidth of emotional swings. You know what I mean? He kind of is a very even keel type of guy. He is a very focus on the next thing type of guy. Teams take on the personality of their coach. I think Flowery Branch will do that this week. I don't worry about Flowery Branch from the emotional letdown standpoint when it comes to this game. I really don't.
Look, what I would like to see is, it's almost like talking about Georgia. They just have a way of starting slow. They really need to come out in this game and start fast. If you're playing a rushing team like Winder Barrow, you come out, get a quick score, they're already on their heels, because they're probably not going to be a great team coming from behind. So I think it's imperative they need to start fast, because they're going to have to start fast. You can't start slow against Jefferson or the game's over in 10 minutes.
All right, guys, let's move on to Region 8 4A. We got two big battles in Region 8 4A this week. East Forsyth and Cherokee Bluff will start there over in Flowery Branch. A huge game here, guys. And, East Forsyth is playing very well right now. Cherokee Bluff, they've had their bumps in the road in a tough non-region schedule. This game right here kind of has maybe epic on it, possibility of it. I think it's going to be a very fun game.
Epic, eh? It could be. Look, I think, it's a great matchup, really up front. I think this is going to be a fun, boy, you're an offensive lineman, you're a defense. I mean, that's going to be the fun matchup all night between, the Bluff offensive line and the East Forsyth defensive line. Look, East Forsyth is number 2 in 4A in defense. They're only giving up 8 points a game. So you kind of feel like something has to give because Bluff comes in this in their last 4 games, I think. They're averaging 31 points a game. And they've got Connor Hulsey, who leads 8-4A in rushing, but Trip Morris from East Forsyth is, just yards behind him, second in rushing in 8-4A. So it's going to be a heavy dose of the run game on both sides, and, this game was essentially about to be tied before Bluff had a late fumble, and turnovers are going to be key. They had the 2 against North Hall that decided that game. They're going to have to take care of the ball if they're going to beat East Forsyth. But, Walker, I think this is going to be one of the better games of the night. I really feel that way.
Yeah, you talk about the rushing game, Connor Hulsey for Cherokee Bluff, the entire stable really for East Forsyth. They can do it with a lot of different people. I think that this game could come down to which team can throw the ball and be able to get the emphasis off of that front 7 and be able to move the ball in another way. Can Cherokee Bluff work in the play action? Can East Forsyth get the ball outside to their playmakers that they have out there? That, I think, is the bigger key here. Yes, it's going to come down to which offensive line can keep the front 7 away from their quarterbacks and running backs. But which team, I think, can throw the ball is going to go a long way in determining who wins this one.
Well, both teams are going to try to throw the ball off of play action, but where I think East Forsyth is going to try to get Cherokee Bluff, East Forsyth is more of a play action shot team, I think, than Cherokee Bluff is. When East Forsyth likes to take their play action throws, they like to try to burn you with the downfield shot after you've been packing the box in. Cherokee Bluff will do that some, but they like to get the ball out on the perimeter a little bit more, hit the old fullback or tight end flat routes, go out to a little stop route on the outside. They like to do that kind of stuff. East Forsyth has, I think, a little bit more big play opportunity in the passing game, at least the way they've played so far this year. And so I'd be interested to see if the Broncos are able to do any of that this week.
And Caleb, I kind of put the label on this game. It's a must-win for Bluff.
Oh, 100%.
For sure.
Because
Absolutely.
And here's the problem for Cherokee Bluff. They can still win 4 region games if they lose this game. But the problem is you're starting to reach a point now in a 9-team region where if you're Cherokee Bluff and you lose this game, you're running out of tiebreakers because you've already lost to Madison County. You've already lost to North Hall. You got North Oconee looming, and that's going to be really tough to beat. So if you lose this game to East Forsyth, you could still get the requisite number of wins that you might need, but you're not going to have any tiebreakers to get into that top 4. So this is a must-win for Cherokee Bluff, absolutely.
So another big game in Region 8 4A, North Hall traveling to Madison County. This game is a game of 2 clashing styles. You look at what Madison County brings into it, Walker. It's the triple option with Camden Smith. We saw him last year a couple times in person, and the kid runs the offense really, really good. On the flip side, the spread from offense, Tanner Marsh, he has done a fantastic job this year. And North Hall, you got to give them the most improved award as far as all-around team, not just the offense, but the defense.
I think that what we've learned about the Red Raiders of Madison County is maybe they weren't as good as we thought they were, or at least they just haven't lived up to what we thought they were going to be. North Hall, like you said, Bo, most improved. They have far and above exceeded expectations in terms of how that offense has been able to produce numbers in Sean Pender's second year, and then how the defense has continually shown that they can put together some good defensive performances. Now, you take away a couple of games where the North Hall defense has bled, White County, North Oconee being the 2 that come to mind right off the top of the head, but against Cherokee Bluff, North Hall holds them way down. North Hall's found ways against Dawson County to limit the offensive output. Can they do that against a triple option team where it's something that they haven't seen much of, if any, this year, and it's tough to prepare for on a week's notice? That's going to be, I think, the big key is, can the North Hall defense slow down Madison County enough on the road to be able to allow their offense to put up the number of points they're going to need to in what could be a shortened game because of that option offense, Jeff? Listen,
Bluff should have beaten Madison County.
Yes.
I mean, 2 extra point, two mistakes in the kicking game cost them that game.
If they make that 1 extra point in regulation, the game doesn't go to overtime.
That is true. So, Bluff pretty much had them beat. North Hall beat Bluff, held them down. I think that this is a game, we talk trap games. It's not a trap game, but this is probably also a must-win, so to speak, for North Hall, because, then you would have lost to North Oconee. Now you've lost to Madison. You have games coming up that you definitely should win, but, now the doubt starts to creep in if they've lost 2 in a row. So I think this is a game that North Hall comes in. I think they feel like we've got to win this game. We've got to get back on track. And this is a team, the Madison County, that was projected probably second-best team. Cherokee Bluff pretty much beat them. North Hall beat Cherokee Bluff. You got to feel like they should win this game.
And Caleb, I should have said this before we started the conversation. It wasn't a blowout last year at North Hall in this game. I think it was a 33-24 win for Madison County.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And what Walker said about how, maybe Madison County isn't good as we thought, I don't know that that's the case as much as I think maybe the rest of Region 8 4A is a little better than we thought coming into the season. Like, I think we thought North Oconee and a gap, which was true. Yeah. And then I think we thought Madison County and then another gap. It turns out that second gap that we thought was there probably just didn't exist at all. Madison County still might be the second best team in this region. Doesn't mean they're going to take the 2 seed because they got to go play North Hall and East Forsyth. So I don't know really. This game's going to be interesting. Anytime you play an option team, we always talk in football about how big third down is, but when you play an option team, the big downs are first and second down.
That's correct.
Yep.
Because you've got to force Madison County into long yardage situations on third down where they're not going to be comfortable. So can you make it 3rd and 5 or longer? If you can do that as the North Hall defense, I think consistently, if the average third down length for Madison County is over 4, I think North Hall's winning the football game.
Yeah.
That, I think, to me, is the big key. I think North Hall will get their points. I don't know how much they'll score, but there's going to be opportunities for North Hall to limit Madison County points-wise. They've got to win first and second down.
Yeah, definitely going to be a good, a fun 8-4A game to track. And that game, by the way, on 94.5 FM The Lake, Winder Barrow at Flowery Branch on FM 102.9, and the East Forsyth Cherokee Bluff game on AM 550. Coming up later in the show, we're going to get to our pick rundown, and we welcome Flowery Branch head girls basketball coach Courtney Newton to the show as our guest picker this week, and she's got a tall task of beating Lumpkin County boys head coach Chris Faulkner, who finished 12-1 last week, plus beating Chuck Graham and Katie B, who finished 11-2. So can she do that?
Look, those are tough, but I think the one she's probably looking at, and we'll ask her, is can she beat Sutton Shirley?
Yeah,
There's a big.
Well, that's going to be pretty easy, right?
A big Flowery Branch Chastity rivalry there, and what did Sutton go again? Like 8-5.
8-5. I believe.
8 terrible.
Sorry to pick on
Ryan Murray
we love
did
you,
even worse.
Sutton. Sorry to pick on you, Sutton, but I think Courtney's probably going to have that.
Yeah.
That number is probably the one that she's eyeing to make sure she beats that.
All right, before we get to the rundown picks, we've got one more game to talk about. It's in Region 7 3A. It's White County at Wesleyan. Jeff, in a crucial Region 7 3A game to White County and both Wesleyan, but White County, they've never won a region championship, and if they can get this win, they will remain on the path to possibly play for a region championship.
They have a bye next week, and then Lumpkin. Is that correct? Lumpkin's
they go West Hall, then Lumpkin.
Yes.
West Hall,
Lumpkin's
then
got
Lumpkin.
the bye before White County.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My bad on that. Doesn't matter. I mean, I think they'll beat West Hall. So this is a game, I think, that right here, when you're looking at this, White County's never won a region title in their history. Lumpkin has never won a region title in its history. Walker, I want that game.
Yeah.
How much can I pay to just make that happen? Because I want to see that game. I think that is going to be a Titanic. I mean, how great would that be for this area? Two teams that have never won a region title playing for essentially a region title.
Well, we had that happen, I want to say 9 years ago and it involved Lumpkin County when I think Tommy Jones was at Lumpkin County. I can't remember if that was Tommy Jones or Ty Maxwell, but when Lumpkin County played West Hall at the end of the year, and at that point, neither of those teams had ever won a region title. I think that's the last time we've had that situation in this area before. But it was West Hall who won that game.
You're talking about mortal enemies there.
That's true.
Between White and Lumpkin. I mean, they played for eons, probably since both schools opened. So that's going to make that even more fun. But this is a must. I know it's a must-win for Wesleyan. Coming off that loss last week against Lumpkin County, if they have any hopes of trying to win the region title, they have to win this game. Otherwise, they have 2 losses with one already to Lumpkin. You know, not only that, but if they lose this game, they might be in danger of not even making the playoffs when you look at the way things are shaking out right now. You know, Dawson has kind of gotten their groove back. You got Lumpkin, you got White. If White beats Wesleyan, they're going to have the tiebreaker. I think this is probably a bigger game for Wesleyan than it is for White County. So I think that's the danger, Caleb, for White County is kind of an upset Wesleyan team at home.
Yeah, I think the big danger is can White County slow down the passing attack. Lumpkin County had problems slowing down the passing attack. Now, they did a better job than a lot of other people on Wesleyan's schedule. Ben Brown, I watched a lot of that game. That guy is just incredible. I mean, the amount of times that Lumpkin County had him running figure eights in the backfield and he just found somebody downfield, he's just got that ability as a quarterback. He's going to make some of those plays even if you defend him almost perfectly. So I'm very interested to see if how White County defends that. I think that's pretty much the key factor in the football game because I do think White County can score on Wesleyan.
I think the key factor, Walker, might be Ryan Fowler, running back for White County.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Fowler's been running the football extremely well for the Warriors, and we saw what a good rushing attack can do against Wesleyan last week, right? Mason Sullivan's 200 yards on the ground, Cal Faulkner nearly 100 yards on the ground, and Lumpkin County ended up shortening that game enough and doing enough on the defensive side, like you said, Caleb, to slow down that Wesleyan passing attack as best they could. The question then becomes, can White County do the same thing except down in Norcross to Wesleyan when they just had that done to them last week against the Indians? I think Trip Nix is going to have to be able to spread the ball around like he has and be able to take some downfield shots to allow Ryan Fowler to be able to run the football. But then I think it comes down to the same key that I had for Lumpkin last week against Wesleyan. Can the secondary cover long enough for the front seven to get home on Ben Brown and try and get sacks or at least get him off the spot? That's the big key, I think. Can the secondary do what they need to do to slow down that passing attack? If they can, this is still going to be a shootout, but I think it might come down to the last possession.
It's going to be another one of the I think the 4 games that we've talked about, it might be the best 4 games all weekend. And we don't have, this is the lightest schedule, but it's a hugely important week for so many teams. And this is going to be another one of those, could be an epic game as you use for, is there a problem with the mic here or something?
Yeah, you bumped it.
So?
Spun it around.
Let's get to the rundown.
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 Time for the rundown? Okay, there you go.
All right, guys, let's get to the rundown portion of the show as we pick them all, or at least 13 of them, and we welcome in this week's guest picker, Courtney Newton, Flowery Branch Girls head coach. Coach, what's up? Welcome to the show.
Where's her applause, Seth?
I realized that if I hit another button, it kills the music.
So
it doesn't do them at once.
Give her applause.
Goodness
I gave
gracious,
her
Jeff.
Yeah, we gave her the applause. There it is.
There we go. Hey, it's amazing how many Hall County legends we have had on as our guest picker.
I know, the streak continues.
Courtney is definitely a Hall County legend.
Also, the streak of basketball coaches.
That is
Well,
true.
have we had anything else other than basketball
I don't think
coaches?
so.
Yeah.
Well, we had
That was smart. That's basketball.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
J4. We had J4.
That's right.
We did have
had
J4. He is a nothing
I
coach.
still don't know how he got involved.
He was a
in this.
placeholder that week.
What happened was Bo forgot to
back
do
up.
his
You can
job
back
and
up.
just grabbed John and brung him in here. It was like, here you go.
We tried to get 2 coaches that week, and they both couldn't do it. So that's why we had J4. So,
Well, let's hope that doesn't
Yeah.
happen again.
well, Courtney, have you Are you ready to make your picks? Because we're going to save the Branch game for last for you, but are you ready?
I saw that. I noticed that. I appreciate it. I am. I feel good about him. Just got going off some information, some records, but either way.
Her dad was a football coach, so she ought to be she ought to be primed and ready for this. I mean,
he was. Yeah. He was wrong on one of them. He picked one. I went away from him. I decided to go out against that. But
so, what's your favorite kind of football game, Courtney? You like a high-scoring affair, or do you like a defensive battle?
I like defense. I like seeing good defense. But I like just seeing people compete. I like it when it doesn't come down to a kicker. I've learned being a coach's daughter of a football coach that sometimes goes well for one team and not the other. Nothing against kickers, but I would rather it not come down to.
Sounded like you were
one job, right?
Yeah, one job.
One job.
It sounded like you were kind of bitter about that. Did you have a kicker issue back in the day or something?
Listen, South Carolina actually has always had really good kickers. We just don't get to the part where it's coming down to the kick lately. But it's just a part of the game. But
look, you can't.
One of the most famous plays in South Carolina history, though, was because of a kicker messing up for Missouri years ago. Remember that?
That's true. That is true. I do.
You can't trust a chicken. See, that's the problem, Courtney. You can't trust a chicken.
Yeah, at least I just want to be in the game. I want to be in the game at the end and not give up a pick six right before halftime to Tennessee. And you guys didn't see I had to wear a Tennessee shirt on Monday because I lost the bet.
Who was the bet with? Who was the bet with?
Mike Martin, my assistant coach. He's a big Tennessee fan, and I watched the game at his house.
How did you allow that to happen? I mean, seriously, don't you get to pick your own stats?
I know.
Can we at least get a picture to put on the show for it?
Yeah,
I do have a picture.
Please send it in.
I will. Dr. Carter, our principal, is a Tennessee fan too, so they all enjoyed
there's
it.
so much Tennessee over there.
I'm never going. I'm not going to Branch anymore. I'm done. That's it.
Between these Bulldogs,
Coach, this would not have happened when you and I were in school at Flowery Branch. There would not have been Tennessee Orange in the principal's office in those days.
I hate that song too.
I agree. I mean, at least the Georgia colors are our colors, so I can somewhat support that. But that orange is just too much.
All right, Coach. Now, look, Chris Faulkner set the guest picker record last week at 12-1. Before that, Chuck Graham and Katie B were 11-2. So the bar has been set for the basketball coaches. So let's get to the picks. You ready?
But just so you'll know,
I think so.
Sutton was what? What did Sutton go again?
Sutton was terrible.
Yeah, Sutton was awful.
Yeah, there you go.
Sutton was awful. He and Ryan Murray
I'm not
both were
saying
awful.
something he doesn't know.
Something like that. Yeah. 8-5.
8-5.
Yeah, there you go. So
I think Ryan Murray was 7 So
that's what it
you
was.
ought to easily be able to beat both of them.
Yeah,
Listen,
they set the low bar.
I think that goes along with Jeff's analysis from the other week.
Yeah.
They're bad. They're bad. He was awful.
I'm going with my gut here on a lot of this. So I hope I can be right. I hope I can beat Sutton. That's the goal.
There you go. There you go.
The goal.
I knew. I was waiting for it. That's what we were waiting for, Coach.
All right, here we go.
The rivalry with Chastity and Flowery Branch is great. Love it.
All right, here we go. Top of the list. Let's get it going. North Forsyth at Lanier. Pick order, by the way, is Walker, Caleb, Jeff, Seth, Courtney, and myself.
Hey, did I move up a little?
Yeah, the random picker moved you up a little.
Sweet.
Yeah. So here we go. We're going to start with Walker. North Forsyth at Lanier.
Give me the Raiders.
I like Lanier in this one. I think they bounce back. I'll take the Longhorns.
Lanier is a 10-point favorite. This is what shocked me in that whole thing. I saw Lanier last week. I've seen North Forsyth. I think North Forsyth is clearly a better team based on the eye test. I'm going with North Forsyth on that.
Yeah, give me North Forsyth as well.
Coach?
I'm going with North Forsyth.
Yeah, I'm going to go with NoFo, too. This is an interesting matchup, but I'm going to go with North Forsyth in this one. Okay, Banks County at Union County.
Union County's offense is really, really good. Especially in 8-2A. I'll take the Panthers.
Union County's really good, and after they lost that game to Lumpkin, people just kind of stopped talking about them, and they've still been really good since that game, and so I'll take Union County. I think Union big in this one.
I like the Panthers.
Yeah, give me Union County.
I'm going with Union County. That Lumpkin loss is not as bad anymore. Lumpkin's 6-0, so I'm going with Union County.
Yeah, I agree with that because Union did put up some yards and some points on Lumpkin. So, yeah, Panthers going to roll big time in Blairsville. All right, Dawson County at Pickens.
Interesting one in 7-3A. I like the Tigers' improvement on offense, and they played pretty good defense last week against the Warriors of White County. I'll take the Tigers on the road.
Pickens can play a little bit of offense too, though. I'm actually going to take the Dragons at home in Jasper.
Look, I was tempted to do that as well, but I was the game last week with White County was the game I was kind of looking at with Dawson to see how they were going to perform, and I think they are coming up. I think they're still a player in 7-3A, but they have to win this game. I'm going to go with the Tigers. Yeah, I'm going to go with Sid Maxwell and the Tigers to get that must win.
Yeah, just reiterate everything you just said. That must-win atmosphere that's going to be there. Dawson.
I'm going with Dawson. One of these teams has to get 2 wins, so going with Dawson.
Look, I haven't picked my Tigers all year. Not one time have I picked them.
How has that worked out for you?
It's worked out well.
Worked out pretty well so far because it's been a rough year.
It's been a rough year.
It's been a good year to do it.
You picked them against West Hall.
You only should have picked them once.
No, I didn't. I did not pick them against West Hall.
in that game?
Did you not?
No, I took West Hall in that game. Yep, I took the Spartans in that game. This week, though, Tigers going to roll into Jasper and get the win. So I'm going to pick the Tigers this week.
They're not going to let you walk the halls anymore if you keep this up.
East Forsyth at Cherokee Bluff in a massive Region 8 4A showdown.
As much as I would love to pick Tommy Jones and the Bears, and I hope that they still win just because I love Coach Jones and what he's done with that program, got to take the East Forsyth with just how well they're playing football right now.
First off, I thought you were going to save your one Dawson County pick of the year for the Lumpkin County game at the end of the year. But that didn't end up happening. No, going into this game, though, East Forsyth and Cherokee Bluff, East Forsyth's got the size advantage, which wouldn't worry me as much if it wasn't for the fact that Cherokee Bluff and East Forsyth want to play very similar brands of football, which means that size advantage, I think, has a chance to show up big time for the Broncos, and I will take them to remain unbeaten on the year.
Listen, I have a pretty good feature on this game on Access WDUN. I think this game comes down to the offensive line play of Bluff and the defensive linebackers really for East Forsyth. It's going to be it was 14-7 last year. I could almost see that exact same score. I like the East Forsyth defense a little bit better than Bluff. I'm going to take East Forsyth on the road, but I'm telling you, this could be one of the better games of the week.
Yeah, when I go and look at the line of this game, it's exactly what I imagined it to be. Close. It's only a 4-point spread, so I'm still going to go with East Forsyth, though. I would love to see Cherokee Bluff pull out the win, but I'm going with East Forsyth.
I'm going with East Forsyth. I know that they've got a really good team, undefeated. A lot of Hall County former coaches are on their staff, actually, so there's a lot of connections there. So I know going against a Hall County school, Cherokee Bluff's been playing better, but definitely going to go with East Forsyth.
Look, guys, I know Walker said he loves Coach Jones. I mean, we all love Coach Jones. Coach Allison as well. I mean, two great head coaches with history against each other and even playing college football together. So this is going to be a good contest. There's no doubt about it. I've seen East once this year. I'm going to pick the Broncos in this just because I think up front they have the slight advantage. So I'm going to go with the Broncos. East Jackson at Fellowship. The Eagles have been flying high this year. Their offense is insane. Can they continue that, Walker, at Fellowship?
Should it be any doubt who I'm picking in this game? Give me the Eagles.
Walker, I would have been I was going to be so disappointed in you if you took Fellowship Christian, because you and me are riding together on this one.
Yes, we are.
I am high on this Eagles team. This could be one of the biggest games in program history for them.
It could be.
They've been really good, but there's still no guarantee they make the playoffs because Region 8-2A is that stacked right now. So they need to get one of these wins. I'm going to take them to do it against Fellowship.
Caleb, does your heart soar with the Eagles nest?
There you go.
All right. I just made the Office reference. I
Okay.
didn't expect you to flap your arms like that. That's fantastic.
I agree with everything you just said. I love this Eagles team. I think Cameron Pettis has this program exactly where they've been wanting to get to. This might be the biggest game since at least 2009 when they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Look, Fellowship, though, was a semifinals team last year. They lost some guys, but they're still really good. They have played a difficult schedule. They're at home. This is the biggest game any of these kids at East Jackson have ever played. For that reason, I'm going to go with Fellowship. But I'm telling you, wouldn't shock me at all if East Jackson wins this game, but I'm going to go with the experience with Fellowship at home.
No Kool-Aid for Jeff.
I'm sorry.
No Kool-Aid, no Eagle's Nest.
Well, if it's aluminum, I don't want it anyway.
That's a good point. Aluminum. I'm
think it
going
was
to
just a
snuggle
color.
into that Eagle's Nest, too. Give me East Jackson.
I'm going with East Jackson. My dad coached there last place he was at. They've improved a lot and definitely think they're going to get that win.
Look, let's just go ahead and just put East Jackson in the playoffs. I mean, they are riding high this season.
Wow. Already.
East Jackson, they're on a mission too, and I believe they're going to roll into Fellowship and win that game against Fellowship. So I'm going with the Eagles. So,
Wow,
move over, guys.
I
Let me
am all alone on that.
You are.
And I don't want to think Coach Pettis to think I'm not on their bandwagon
Well,
because I am. But this
you
is
aren't. So
this
Gilmer-
is a different test.
Okay, let's move on to Gilmer at Lumpkin County. Walker, what you got?
Interesting one for the Indians here with a bye week looming in White County right after that. This could be considered a trap game with the high of beating Wesleyan last week. I don't think, though, that Gilmer can do enough offensively and Lumpkin gets the win.
I do want to see if Gilmer can play enough keep away to disrupt Lumpkin County's offense because Lumpkin County is a team that relies on its run game. Can Gilmer take the ball out of their hands enough to kind of beat Lumpkin at their own game? That will be interesting to me. I don't think they can do it for 4 quarters. I'm going to take Lumpkin at home, but I agree with you, Walker. Total trap game because of where it's sandwiched between that big emotional Wesleyan game and the White County game looming later on. Prime trap game material. This is the upset alert of the week, I think, but I will take Lumpkin to win.
I think you're both nuts. No upset alert.
Me
May
too.
be a trap game, but not anymore. I think Heath Webb has gotten, he's a year and a half in now. These guys are learning how to win and win these types of games and not get that letdown. Last year they had the one letdown against Wesleyan. We haven't seen that yet this year. I don't think we're going to see it. I think they blow them out. Blow that. I think it's going to be a huge win for Lumpkin. They're going to take that high into the bye week and get ready for what could be an incredible region championship type game with White County.
I was at that Lumpkin County game Friday, and, they Wesleyan keyed pretty heavily on Mason, but when they did and they were able to kind of contain him, it opened up a lot of other facets for Lumpkin. They're dynamic now. They're really rolling. Give me Lumpkin County.
Definitely sticking with Lumpkin. Going to stay undefeated. It's at Lumpkin. They're gonna roll on to 7-0.
Look, didn't Gilmer beat Lumpkin last year?
No, Lumpkin came from behind and won a thriller at the end of the game.
A thriller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was somewhat of a game. Well, Gilmer lost a lot of people, right?
They're not the same team.
Yeah, Lumpkin rolls in this one.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, come on. Kings Academy at LCA. This is a region game for the Lightning.
I'll take the Lightning at home.
Yeah, give me LCA.
Man, this is a tough one because they're, defensively they have some issues still, and this is a game that's probably going to have points scored, and I don't know if they already lost a game where they scored like 40-something points. I think I'm going to go with Kings Academy, but I would love to see LCA get this game. But I'm just not sold on that defense. We told it was young and going to struggle, and it has.
I'm going to hop on the coattails and say Lightning strikes.
Oh, jeez.
Did I? What's that? I was about to say, did I get a groan from Coach?
He's been waiting to say that all week.
As a matter of fact, I made that up on the spot. Thank you.
So, Seth, you stole her line.
Did I?
Yes.
You stole her thunder.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
All right, show's over. Where's the ending music? That's it. That's it. Show's over.
Listen, I'm going
Show's
with
over.
Kings
Cue the
Academy.
music.
I'm trying to be beat Sutton. So I think the defense is still an issue with LCA, and I'm going to go with Kings Academy.
Wow. Who do I go with
Got to
here?
break the tie here.
Yeah, let's break the tie. Look, I've gone with LCA before, and it's not worked out for me. So I'm going to go with Kings Academy this week. That's pretty easy, right? All right, North Hall at Madison County, another big Region 8 4A battle. This one to keep the home playoff hopes alive for really both teams. But North Hall got to go to Danielsville, Walker.
Yeah, and here's the thing with this one. I think Madison County might have been a little bit overhyped just based on how they've played and how we expected them to play. They haven't lived up to that. North Hall is going to be able to put up points. I think the Trojans score enough to get the win.
I have picked against North Hall for 2 weeks in a row. So if I was going to do it 3 weeks in a row, this would be the opportunity, right, at Madison County.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take North Hall. I'll take North Hall.
I knew exactly
I will break the
going.
streak. I'll break the streak. I'm taking the Trojans.
I see this as a similar game with that with the Cherokee Bluff game where, Bluff did outgain them, but that North Hall defense was very opportunistic. They kind of held that run game in check. I think they can do this again on the road at Madison County. These kids have that experience now of being able to do that. I'm going to take North Hall on the road.
This has been the year for me to actually be on my alma mater's bandwagon for a little while. So I'm taking Trojans.
I'm definitely taking North Hall. I'm a big fan of Charlie House on the O-line. So definitely picking them. It's going to be a big win for them.
So this is a game where it's a battle between Tanner Marsh and Camden Smith.
Something like
It's
that.
a clash of two styles, offensively, triple option versus the spread. Night and day difference with North Hall from this time last year to this time this year. So Trojans going to roll into Madison County, even after that big loss to North Oconee, but who hasn't lost big to North Oconee? Going to pick the Trojans to roll in this one. Shiloh at Jackson County. Does Jackson County have enough to beat Shiloh, Walker?
Was that sarcasm? I think Jackson County.
It was total sarcasm.
The game that we really need to watch, I think, is Shiloh Appalachia later.
No, we don't.
For that reason, I'm taking Jackson County.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jackson County should win this game big. They have to win this game, so I'll take the Panthers.
Yeah, this is a must-win after another ridiculously
Their third overtime.
Unbelievable. I've never seen a team but tracked overtime.
They love it.
Apparently so, but this is a must-win, and they do have enough. And I still like this team to make the playoffs, but they have to win this game, and they're going to have to steal one down the road. But I'm definitely going with Jackson County.
Yeah, Jackson County.
Jackson County for sure.
Oh, yeah, Jackson County. St. Francis at Rabun County. This is a non-region matchup here.
Wildcats and Tiger.
Rabun.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be big. St. Francis lost their coach and apparently most of their players because they're having a
So who you picking?
Oh, Rabun.
Good.
Rabun.
Rabun. Walnut Grove at East Hall.
I'm going to take the Vikings at home. I feel like this is a game that their offense and athleticism can show out, and Walnut Grove is not great on the defensive side of the football.
I feel that same way too, man, but it's just I keep feeling that way about these East Hall games, and I haven't seen it yet for a while. I'm going to take Walnut Grove, and I don't like it. I want to see East Hall win.
He doesn't like
I think we've established this before, Caleb. There's like no have-tos on this show.
Well, no,
if you don't like it, don't do it.
I want to see East Hall win, but I
then
also
pick
want
'em.
to win.
Then pick
That's
'em.
the thing. No, I want to win too. That's the thing, though. So I'm trusting my head over my gut here.
So really you're just being selfish is what you're saying.
Yes, I'm being selfish.
Yes.
Okay, I
I'm
just
being
wanted to make
selfish.
sure that we
Who you picking?
man, everything you just said, I feel like East Hall is ready to break out. I keep waiting and waiting and waiting. Can I wait some more? I'm going to wait one more time.
Nope.
I'm taking them. I'm taking East Hall.
There it is.
There it is.
Yes.
Greatest cheer in American
So
sports.
who'd you pick? by the
Somebody
way?
make what
I'm
he just
going
did a
with
gift.
East
Please,
Hall.
somebody.
East
All right, Seth, what
It
you
needs
got?
to be that we need to elevate the sound on that, bite right there. It's too quiet.
Yeah, we could take care of that.
Yeah, I mean, I could take care of that. I'll take East Hall. Give me East Hall.
I'm competitive. I'm gonna go with East Hall. I think it's at East Hall, and they're gonna start chanting that cheer. Walnut Grove's gonna get a little shaky. So I'm going with East Hall.
I want to see the offense score some points.
Yes.
And I think they can against Walnut Grove. So I'm going to go with East Hall in this one.
We changed his mind.
There it is. Yeah, I did change my pick.
There we go.
I did. All right, White County at Wesleyan, 7-3A battle here. White County trying to stay perfect so they could set that Region 7-3A championship up against Lumpkin later on down the road. What say you, Walker?
Peachtree Corner's tough place to play. I think Trip Nix gets the ball last and leads his team down for a game-winning score. Field goal or touchdown, don't know what it'll be, but I think that's what it comes down to. Warriors win close.
White County's going to score some points in this game, but the concern I have is we've seen White County play two really prolific passing teams so far this year. That was North Hall and Stevens County. Neither of those games went well for them. Their defense gave up a lot of points both times they had to play a quarterback that could really sling it around. So I am going to go with Wesleyan because I think Wesleyan can do the same thing. I do think it's a shootout, but I think Wesleyan outguns. I think Brown outguns Nix in this one for the Wolves.
Remind me, because last week has already happened, was that game with Dawson, was that in Dawsonville?
Yes, yes.
So they they went on the road in a game that, typically they haven't fared very well.
Right.
No, that's true.
And got that win. And I we talked to Chad Bennett, and
there's not a Brown and Trimble though on Dawson. So just want to set that up for you.
Well, that is true.
Okay.
That is true.
Right,
I think this is the thing is I think this is a game Wesleyan feels like it's a must win at this point after losing to Lumpkin. If they lose this game, they might even they're certainly out of a home playoff spot. They might even be out of the playoffs. I think
of the region title picture for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like White County can definitely win this game, but Wesleyan is, I think, better than Dawson County. This is a must win for them. This is a game I think Wesleyan is going to win. But I think White County can win this game. I'm going to pick Wesleyan because it's
Seth,
at
what
Wesleyan.
you got?
I think Wesleyan's definitely got a chip on their shoulder after this past week. And with White County going to their place, I'm going to have to go with Wesleyan.
I'm going with Wesleyan. I think that it's at their place. They've got a lot of some tradition there, and White County's got some wins, but we got to look at who those wins are against. So going with Wesleyan.
Look, bad taste in White County's mouth after last year's game in Cleveland. It was a close battle, 22-17. I think it was the final in that game. I think Coach Bennett, they're healthy. I'm not going to leave Walker alone on the left side here. So
thanks, Bo.
Walker, I'm picking White County in this one.
Listen, I honestly, I hope y'all are right. I hope I lose that one because I would love to see that matchup set up.
I hope you do too.
Yeah, I hope you do too. All right, let's get
the rest of us do too.
Thank you.
Let's get to the game that we saved for last for Coach Newton. It's Winder Barrow at Flowery Branch, and Coach, you're picking first here in this one. A big game for Flowery Branch. The floor is yours.
Huge game for us, homecoming week for us, so we're excited about that. Have had a lot of activities throughout the week. We just are coming off a really big road win where, we played well, came back from behind. Josh Oliver's throwing the ball really, really well. Jeremiah Ware is using his speed and getting in the end zone last couple games. So definitely picking Flowery Branch to win that game. We're hoping to have a really big crowd, and we've had a lot of tough losses, and have played some really tough teams at the start of the season, but I think we're starting to click in the areas that we need to, and definitely the Branch all the way.
Coach, I love everything you just said. The offense is balanced. The defense is starting to figure it out and came back and held Clark Central down late. And also, who spells their mascot Bulldogs with 2 G's? Give me the Falcons.
Who has a mascot with the Bulldog? I mean, we're that's an issue already right there.
Oh, stop now.
Look, Courtney, while you got me on your side, don't do something to change that.
Sorry.
Look, you said you picked against your alma mater for the entire season,
Yeah.
right? I've picked against my alma mater for like 3 weeks in a row, and I just don't. I'm just sick and tired of it. I'm tired of it. Coach,
come back to us.
Us
Thank
Falcons
you.
got to stick together. Give me the Branch. The Branch boys get it done at home.
Listen, I think this is a game. They're finally. I agree with everything you said, Courtney. They're getting finally. It looks like they're getting everything together on that offense. My only question to you, and maybe you do or do not know this, is Malik Dryden going to play? Because he didn't play last week.
Hasn't played for a few weeks, actually.
I can't give that information.
Yeah, what you asking?
There you go.
Well, she's picking the branch. She may know something that we don't.
Well, they beat Clark Central. They beat Clark Central without Malik.
Well,
Dryden.
that is true.
If he doesn't play, we know we're going to have other kids that are going to step up. If he does play, we're going to be excited to see him back there on the field.
Oh,
who you picking, Jeff?
She's such a coach.
Who you picking?
She's such a coach.
Who you picking, Jeff?
I'm taking the branch. I feel like they're set up to go Jefferson for the region title. I think they're building to that.
Seth, who you got?
Well, I went and visited Flowery Branch the other day for our Gaining the Edge. A lot of good vibes around there. I'm going with the Branch.
Yes. This is a gutsy team. This is a team that can pull one out. They proved it last week. I'm going to pick the Falcons in this one. It's homecoming. Game's going to be on FM 102.9, so it will be a big contest, but Branch going to win this one, as we say. Wrap the rundown.
Now, you say what Jeff did was a gift? That's a gift.
That's a big time.
That's
and we
a
have a new
stinking
sideline
segment.
mascot, so everybody can see that too. It flaps its wings just like that. You might need to be the celebrity mascot for a day.
Yes, but he doesn't get a suit. We just tar and feather him and stick him out there.
Can I get the mascot head Lee Corso style in the studio?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, we should have brought it.
Yeah, we should have.
You're going to make me digitally put that there, aren't you?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you
are.
Coach,
thank you for joining us on the rundown. And we'll just have to wait till Friday night about midnight to see how you did.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
All right, guys, let's get to the locks of the week this week. And by the way, I have moved into the #1 lock picker this week. No. Just the order.
Oh, okay.
You and I are tied 6-1.
You know,
hey,
Caleb is
6-1
as
too.
well. So
I'm going for the Triple Crown this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to win everything.
Can we change this show to against the spread? Because I feel like I do better in that than I do just the straight up pick 'em.
No.
Okay. So I guess I have to pick first here.
That's how it works, yes.
I'm going to go with North Hall in this one.
What's the line, Bo?
It's a -2. They're favored by 2. So I'm just going to take North Hall.
You know what? I don't hate that pick, but for the same reason, I'm going to take East Jackson, except they're +5. I'm on the Eagle bandwagon.
Yeah, you are.
They get 5 extra points.
Mm-hmm.
The math.
Yeah.
The maths.
Hey, well done in that mathing department.
You're a mathlete.
Well, listen, I am not a mathlete, but I am taking Flowery Branch to beat Winder Barrow, but the Falcons are a 24-point favorite. I don't think anybody's winning that game by 24 points. I think it's closer than that. So, I mean, that's almost a 4-possession game. So I'll take Flowery Branch to win. I do have Winder Barrow +24 on that one.
Okay.
Took all my.
That was Jeff's pick.
I don't like picking this far down.
Jeff, you picked first for the last 7 weeks.
Then you lost.
I know.
Yeah, so and then you lost.
I felt like it's just my right to pick first.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what.
We're about to find out if you're right or not.
I'm surprised that this fell that far because I think we all picked.
Then why are you complaining?
Because. Why not?
Dear Jesus.
That's my thing. I complain. I'm taking North Forsyth +10. I think they're going to win that game, so give me the 10 points.
Okay. Seth, to round it out.
Yeah.
We didn't leave him anything good.
All by himself.
I think that White County Wesleyan game can be closer than it's set. So yeah, I want to take Wesleyan +10.
Okay.
Hey, roll the music. Yeah, that's it. That's right.
That sounds right.
Yeah, that's good.
I made notes this time, guys.
All right, guys.
I'm trying.
That's a wrap for the show today. Caleb, what's on the tailgate this week?
Well, we're going to hear from Flowery Branch head coach Jason Tester ahead of their matchup and give away some prizes, eat some barbecue, and have fun getting ready for football. That's 6 o'clock at Smokehouse Barbecue in Oakwood.
Hey, we got 3 games on the air. As usual, this week, AM 550 is at East Forsyth Bluff game. FM 102.9 is the Flowery Branch And who they playing again? Winder Barrow game.
LG Bulldogs.
And on 94.5, the Lake is North Hall at Madison County. So check all that out. Also check out the website at Friday Game Night. Access WDUN.com/Friday Game Night for stories, highlights, photos, and more from the action, as well as our Twitter page, our X, whatever you want to call it, at Friday Game Night. For the entire crew, I'm going to get the week right this week. Enjoy week number 8 of high school football. Bye-bye.
No basketball is magical this week?
No.
Basketball is magical.
And you know, basketball is magical.
Where's the censor?
Can we get Walker? Can we get Walker saying it as the new...
This show has just devolved.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.